Welcome to Biztech's Inside Trading Show. This show is all about trading. Every week we discuss what trading is all about and what are the required habits of a successful trader. We'll also share trading ideas and themes to help you make money. As always, with me is my co-host Phan Vee Leung. He's the founder and CIO of Track Record Trading Academy. V, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's good to be back, Brian. Let's talk about trading.
Now, V, for a start, as we always do, what is the trading tip for the week?
Okay, I think we'll start the day off with trading quote that says from this Alexander Elder that says the market does not know that you exist, and you can do nothing to influence it, and so you can only control your behavior. And this is a very good reminder for traders at all stages of their career, whether you're at the beginning, in the middle of it, or maybe very, very successful and you're very, very an expert now, is that because we are humans, we tend to take things very personally and emotionally when the market goes against us. But we need to always remember that really the market does not know that we exist. They don't really care, right? The collective consciousness of the market does not know that you and I exist. It is not personal. Whenever bad things happen to us in the markets, it's just random, or it's just we are wrong, right? So the only way we can get out of it is to control our behavior instead of being very affected by the bad performance. Just take a step back and revisit. Take a step back. Get some objectivity. Watch from the sidelines and revisit when we have regained some form of objectivity. And this is especially true when trends are forming and we are on the wrong side of it, or we have just missed it. We are not in it at all. And this is happening recently as well. And it's a good time to have a reminder of this, because I think recently the markets, some investors are getting a little bit frustrated with the super outperformance from the AI sector.
Okay, and speaking of that, I want to revisit that because if we look back at the when we started the show, we the first theme that we did was around AI and really about how, as an investment theme, that has a lot of legs to it. Now, tell us a little bit more, V, on where we are at, because obviously this sector has completely outperformed since our show started.
Yes, cool. Let's look at the review of the theme, right? If you can share the slides here, I have some slides. Let's have a look at them. Uh, since we started the the inside trading show, I think towards the end of March, 28th of March, we published the first episode. We talk about the AI theme, about how it's going to change the way we work and entertain ourselves. And of course, at the time, it's pretty much a very novel concept. It's just a few months in to the introduction of ChatGPT to the world. And since then, we've seen a lot of updates and a lot of progress made on that front. And more companies, Google, Meta, they're all joining in to create their own expertise and develop their own expertise in AI and increase product. And we've seen massive increase of productivity in the sectors that have learned how to adopt AI in their work. And as we said then, in a gold rush, we must invest in the people or the companies who sell shovels and picks. And our idea then was NVIDIA, the chip maker that is producing most of the chips that are being used for all these AI purposes, right? So since then, if you look at this chart, there's a point here where we talked about it. Since then, we have seen a massive outperformance, almost a 50% rise in the stock, and of course, before the recent earnings report, it was just a steady grind upwards, as we should see, and then as we expected to see, and the major gap up we see in this recent outperformance is because of the earnings report. So the Q1 earnings report was amazing.
Yeah, it
Revenue
was
was,
a stellar report, wasn't it?
yes,
Totally
correct.
blew out.
Yeah, as you can see here, it was $7.2 billion of revenue versus 6.5 billion. So that's a small outperformance. It's okay. earnings per share was outperformance by almost 20%. That's okay. But I think the thing that really woke investors up was that the second quarter revenue that was expected was only $7.2 billion, and NVIDIA now estimates around $11 billion. That's almost 50% more, right? And that's around 50% more, is actually more than 50% more of what was estimated. And I think this is just beginning. But of course, when something moves by a lot, as you saw in the chart, it was very explosive move, and the market cap added was around $250 billion on one single day. More than $200 billion in one single day is unprecedented as far as I can remember, for a single stock to add that much uh, market cap in a single day. Of course, we are now seeing a lot of questions as to is it overvalued? The typical arguments are that the shares may be due for a big pullback because it's a bubble, it's going up too fast too soon, it's a fad, everybody is just jumping on the bandwagon, and current growth rates do not support the market's optimism, and the gaming sector seems to be suffering, which all is true, right? It's all true. But well, what is the market pricing this for, right? It's pricing not based on the past, but based on what they expect in the future. So what does the CEO thinks? He knows the sector best right now. I think he's quite a hero in pivoting his company into putting processors into his graphic cards, allowing it to process data. And so it is, according to him, the computer industry is going through two simultaneous transitions, as accelerated computing as well as generative AI. And I think most of the audience right now, I believe even in my circle, my friends, most of them, they're still not really sure what accelerated computing, what AI is, and what generative AI is. I strongly advise anybody who is watching this right now to Google. In fact, not Google, just go through ChatGPT and figure out what are these two components of these two simultaneous transitions. You could in the future, you could, right now it's not the future, you could just use words and generate images, you could create art, you could create images, and you could ask AI of any questions in any areas of expertise, right? And it is changing the way that people are doing their work and entertaining themselves. So this company, which, as I said, sells the picks and shovels for the people who are joining the gold rush, stands to gain from the retooling of data centers around the world, where they are not just storing data, they will soon be also processing data and be accelerated computing centers all around the world. So I
And so
think,
what this is, and I want to stop you here at the moment and let me explain to the audience what this actually, the implication is. So these chips go into racks in servers. And what then happens is the following. As you install them in the same rack, the same blade server as you call it, has higher processing power, uh, taking a smaller, the same footprint, but probably 10 times the processing power with using lower power. So essentially, there is a real shift around need as the upgrade cycle for these data centers happen for NVIDIA then to take market share. That's the technical side of why this thesis could be true.
yes, and we also talk about data centers in one of our earlier episodes as well. So clearly, it's there will be many beneficiaries of this boom as well, and we've spoken about that. And you're absolutely right, right? It's just using existing infrastructure, upgrading them, and NVIDIA stands to gain because they are the tools that are required for all this upgrading, right? And so what do we think from here? I think the question that most the first thing that we need to know in whatever trend that is forming and whatever uh, huge moves that we've seen in the market is that you must always remember, just do not sell a stock just because it's gone up a lot. Right? I think the human tendency is to think everything is mean reverting. So if it's gone up 100%, whereas the general market has really not gone much higher than never, not really moving anywhere, and the overall macro environment is still quite poor given that the interest rates are high, it's rising, and the Fed's still talking about interest rate rises, interest rate hike. But there must be a reason, right? That and the assumption that just because it's gone up a lot, it has to come down is sometimes correct, but when it's wrong, it's very, very expensive, right? Because when it goes up, it can go up multiple folds. When it can go down, you can only go down to zero, right? At best, you can make it 100%, and it's quite unlikely that a company with such strong fundamentals and so much demand and quite irreplaceable in any time in any time that we can foresee, it's quite unforeseeable to see it go down by a lot, even if it goes down, right? So risk reward is not there. Do not sell a stock just because you've missed buying it. I think many people have this emotional view about markets. We come back to our trading tip for the day. Just don't react to the market because it is pissing you off, right? It's just upsetting you. Don't worry about it. Just be objective. So the real question that we need to ask actually is the AI trend ending soon, or is it just beginning? And I think being Biztech Asia, Brian, you know as well as I do, this trend is just beginning, and we are still have experts in the fields who still are very doubtful about it, and the productivity gains that we will see in the weeks and months ahead will be in the order of something that is truly unprecedented in human history, as far as I can tell. So I think it is just the beginning. So we will stick with the AI theme, and we'll talk about it more in the days and weeks ahead as well.
Now, V, thank you very much for coming on the show. On that note, that's it for our Inside Trading show. I'm Brian Fernandez. Thanks to Phan Vee Leung, founder and CIO of Track Record Trading Academy, for coming on the show. This interview will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.